Whenever I was younger, I had so many strict rules that defined who I was that I just fully just lived up to. If I believed it, it's just who I was. I accepted it and didn't even try to change it. Like for example, I thought I was a really shy person. I just assumed that I was a shy guy. So what happened? I was a shy guy. I lived up to it. I didn't try to branch out, talk to anybody because that's how I define myself. That's what my self-image defined me as. So I stuck as that. What I didn't realize that your identity is your reality. The way you perceive yourself is how others will perceive you. The way you see yourself controls everything. Your habits, your relationships, your confidence, literally your whole world. The way you perceive yourself is what makes all of that. If you believe you're shy, you'll hesitate in social situations. If you believe you're fat, you're probably never even going to put in the effort to lose weight. If you believe you don't have any discipline, you'll never push yourself. Your actions will always, always, always define who you are. The things that you do, the way you behave, is going to shape your reality and make you become the person who you're going to end up being. Your actions will always match your self-image. As you evolve, you're going to kind of shed your identity and you're going to embody a new identity. If you can imagine, I don't know how old you are, but let's say you're like 25. If you can imagine how you acted, who you were whenever you were 8 compared to when you were 15, compared to when you were 20, compared to when you were 25, it's all different identities. You're not the same person. I'm a different person every single year. I have like certain core things that stick, but I outgrow certain identities, and those are outdated identities. And a lot of people hold on to those old identities without even realizing it. An example of that would be somebody who struggled socially in high school, so they still assume they're bad at conversations, even though they've grown. Maybe they've gotten better at it through their job, or they've gotten new hobbies that allowed them to branch out more and have more things to talk about. And they just assume they're still bad at it just because that's how they were in high school. That's just something they never grow out of. And there's other things too, like maybe it's a hairstyle. Me, for example, whenever I was early high school, I had like the little Justin Bieber cut, where it like kind of come down and like bangs. You gotta know what I'm talking about. That's the Justin Bieber haircut, right? So I had that haircut for like my whole life up until about like my sophomore year of high school, and that's where I was like, I want to change my hair, but I had this weird thing going on where I was like just super insecure. I thought if I changed my hair, everybody would notice. Like I was the center of attention, even though that's not how it works at all. But I was like, yeah, if I change how I style my hair, people are gonna think it's weird, and it's not my identity. So that I was holding on to an old identity. It's something I didn't want to hold on to, and that's a stupid example. It's very, what's the word? Vain. It's a very vain example. So it goes deeper though. Maybe it's a personality trait, whatever it is. A lot of people struggle with holding on to old identities, and even with discipline. Like an example of that would be you failed to stick to a diet before, so now you just believe you can't even do it. So the reason I give these examples, and the reason I mention this is because I want to say that your past doesn't define you. It's your attachment to the past that does. That you're latching onto these things, that's why it still is you, because you're holding value in that, even though it was part of the past, it's not even you anymore. So the way you upgrade your identity is by first realizing what you want as a person. So you need to get clear with yourself of what the next level of you looks like. For me, is I wanted to be more fit, I wanted to be more socially dominant, and I really just wanted to be more confident. Those were the three of the things that I wanted as the most ideal version of myself. So I let that happen, and I made that become who I was. And then the next step is to, instead of waiting to feel like that person's, act as if you already are. Now, as time goes on and you experience more things, you're gonna feel more naturally like it. But if you just step into it, you'll make the progress quicker. And the way you can do that is just like whenever you're in a certain scenario, you could just ask, oh, what would a confident person do right now? If I was more disciplined, what would I do right now? Things like that will help you embody it more, and you can live up to that expectation you hold to yourself better. And then you can also just reinforce that new identity. So the way you do that is by surrounding yourself with a new environment, people, and then habits that'll make you feel more like that and support that version of you. If your circle still treats you like the old version of yourself, you'll never outgrow it, and they're just holding you back at that point. So you gotta find a way, maybe let them know to stop treating you that way, just be firm about it, or you might just need to just stop talking to certain people in general, because that's gonna happen. You're gonna have certain groups that are just gonna treat you the same, and then there's something called vertigo. It's like a weird thing where it's like whenever you're around certain people, you'll act as if maybe you didn't see them for 2 years, and you're a different person 2 years later. You go back and talk to them, and you just revert back to that old version of yourself. There's people in my life who act like that with. I had a brain fart there. But I can see somebody from high school that I used to joke around with, and it's like I just like suddenly immediately get a lot more immature. I'm acting how I used to back then, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. I gotta stop doing that. And I have to like catch myself and be like, that's not me anymore. Let me act how I act now. And it's a hard thing to do, but the thing is, if you don't do it, you'll just stay stuck. So you gotta realize that. It's a mindset shift that really changes everything, And the second you try to just step into it instead of waiting to feel it, it's drastic how much it changes you. It's immediate, actually. The truth is, the moment you act differently, you become different. No one defines who you are except for yourself. If you just start acting like a different human today, no one can stop you from doing that. Like, that's just who you are at this point. If I was to wake up and I just decided I want to be like, let me think, just Brad Pitt, and I just studied Brad Pitt, like studied all of his quirks, his personality, just who he is as a person, and I just started acting that way. That's who I am now. Like, even if it's not identical to him, but it's my perception of him, if I act that way, that's just who Devin is as a person now. You could literally change who you are that same day. So figure out the traits that you want, stick to them, and you just change your reality completely. It's that simple, and I don't know, it's hard to grasp. It really is hard to grasp, but that's the truth to it, and you can probably see it whenever it's laid out that way, because it really is just that simple. You can change anything you want about yourself. You just gotta believe it and portray it. Your identity isn't fixed, it's your choice. If you feel stuck, it's not because you lack ability, it's because you're holding on to an older version of yourself. Let go of who you were, and just try to become who you're meant to be. But, yeah, if you got any value from this video, appreciate if you subscribe. Besides that, see you in the next one.